Welcome back to all our international viewers who took a brief hiatus to go and catch up with some tennis. You haven't missed a great deal, I might add, although the approach into the pits by the 97 car was as dramatic as always. Darren Turner is there, and the two-car Audi is also in here, and he's got company.
Yeah, they're one lap apart, but it's our race leader, number one, Benoit Trillier, from Tom Christensen, the two-car. Tom, unfortunately, having lost a lap in the garage. And let's concentrate on our race leader. Tear off strip across the windscreen there. These cars, incidentally, Carlton, as well as those fairly large mirrors on the side, have rear view video, so they can give them some extra view of what's happening behind. Why they need to see behind them, speed they're travelling, I'm not quite sure, but they do have that extra thing because of the fairly limited rearward vision on these cars.
Yeah, it's interesting actually. They insisted that the Delta Wing Nissan had standard wing mirrors fitted because they only wanted to run with rear view cameras.
Yeah,
and do you know what the difference was? 8% in its aero efficiency. That is a huge amount.
Because of the lack of any other appendages, yes.
Yep.
So Tom Christensen, no tyres, so he got out much quicker, but as we said, he's a lap and not only a lap and 63 seconds down on the race leader. Benoit Trillier, we think, staying on board. He's taking new tyres on. Out he goes. This has been a great run for him and Andre Lotter, and of course, we only had 2 of the 3 drivers on board that car. That was a busy track.
That was an extraordinarily busy track, and they did a great job to actually keep it on there. Now, Milner, don't forget, he'll be on full attack if this is his last lap before he actually comes in. 73 has gone by. Oh, no. Yes, I'm afraid. Let's dip down. I believe it is the AM, the 99 car.
This is in the Porsche curves as well. You don't want to go off there. Oh, dear. Oh, it's quite a hard hit. It's taken the rear wing off, so that's going to cost them time even when they recover that car. Dear, oh, dear.
Well, there we are. It is 99. Confirmation of that. That's a real shame. We were talking up the possibility of a pro and an AM victory, so we'll, for the time being at least, we'll have to leave it with the pros. Everyone gets ill fortune, don't forget. 24 hours of racing at this kind of pace. You're going to get caught out at some point. We'll have to wait and see what the problem was.
Yeah, that car has had delays already. It's not actually in the top 50, which is where our page goes down to. That's the car being shared by the Scandinavians. Well, in fact, it's all 3 Dutchmen, isn't it? It's Christopher Nygaard, Christian Poulsen, and the supremely talented Alan Simonsen. Alan, of course, becoming a father just a month ago. Congratulations on that. But this is one of the 2 factory cars. This is the Vantage V8.
Well, I'm sure Holland would like to have them, but they're actually Danish. There you go. Land of bacon. They're both lands of bacon.
Did I say Danish? I thought
you said Dutch.
Dutch? Oh, sorry. I did say Scandinavian, then I said they were Dutch. Yeah. Next time you have me taken out the back and shot, Carl. Better for everyone.
Steady. Here we are, on board with the number 1 car. It's in P1 at the moment, in the hands of Trillier, and this is a magnificent machine. Hear that?
Bang, that's where it comes in. 120 k's, and suddenly, woof, gets all that 200 brake horsepower, 150 kilojoules of stored up energy, kinetic energy. It's a Kerr system, yeah, just like you have in Formula 1, but they tackle it, so do Toyota, in a completely different way.
Car 89, 99 in the gravel, Marshall Post 115. Be aware, yellow flags are being displayed. Yellow flags are being displayed at Marshall Post 115.
Yeah, that's
there we are.
For the 99 car.
The voice of our race director, who has been a little bit quieter today, thank heaven. I think he was running the entire show during the Group C earlier on, to be honest. Yellow flag at that Marshall point.
Just remember, we told it to first on Eurosport before he did. So, so great battle then, continuing for the GT pros, and it's why they're pros that they're still on the track. The AMs aren't at the moment for some reason. So. And Aston Martin, the number 1 car, then continuing on its way, and this is just such a good run for them. They haven't had the trouble that the number 2 and number 4 cars have had. The number 3 car has also been trouble-free, Raymond Dumas, and in fact, Carlton, he's moved that car back up ahead of Nick Lapierre, so he's regained 3rd place, and all 4 of those leading cars, the 2 Audis, the 2 Toyotas, have made 5 pit stops. So this is all in real time. And there goes the number 8 car of on board at the moment.
Oh, look at that.
Buemi.
They've got to be careful, these two. Very, very careful indeed. They don't want to lose position.
Well,
either of them. That was a lovely take. Different parts of their cycle, of course, and here he comes. You get a much lighter vehicle later in the run, naturally, because of the fuel that you've used. And yeah, some very, very slick work there by Buemi.
Yes, indeed. That's the 8 car there. I'm just trying to work out what's happening there. That's not for the lead, is it? Surely.
No.
No. That was the number 1 car. Was it? He went past. We just had a gap thing showing the two of them.
Well,
so
timing's gone down a bit. Just made a stop, Juliet. So carrying a heavy load. Yeah. That's what we're saying. The difference between the vehicles at the beginning and the end of their runs is significant.
Yeah. So,
and of course, when everything's up to temperature as well, has a massive impact. Look at this. Hit those lights, why don't you?
Yeah.
It is actually one button, by the way. And then the flashing goes. You don't have to keep sort of fiddling away. You can concentrate on the driving. You hit the button and away you go.
Yeah, and of course, like all other controls on the steering wheel, so you don't lose distraction fiddling for things on the dashboard like you had to in the old days. Into the first chicane, then now named the.
How much of a surprise? Sorry, Mark.
Yep.
How much of a surprise do you think it would be if Toyota went the distance here and maybe got a podium? That would be a major success, wouldn't it?
I think they would earn huge, huge plaudits from everyone. Remember, the car is run by Huda Schoenack of Oreca. Whole Oreca team's behind it. They've got the German engineering that came out of Toyota Formula 1 in Cologne. This is basically a Formula 1 car in sports car clothing. Engines from Japan, super reliable. We know they lost an engine on Wednesday night in qualifying, but Ant Davidson told us earlier they know what happened with that and it won't happen again. So it was obviously some sort of installation problem. But I think it is a fantastic setup, this whole project. And in fact, I saw Mr. Takahashi from Toyota on the grid this afternoon. I just went out and said, I'd like to congratulate you. I think you brought a beautiful car and thank you for helping to save Le Mans this year.
Ever the PR man that you are.
Yes. I had to. I was wearing the Eurosport shirt. So
did he give you a T-shirt?
Yeah, I had
what you usually after.
I had the Eurosport shirt on, so I said that's enough, thank you. And,
Mark Cole's T-shirt collection is extensive.
Yeah, I'm actually wearing a Eurosport hat at the moment because the sun is so bright in our eyes. I need the peak just to be able to see the screens.
We are actually cooking here. So is the battle in the AMGT Pro. See what I did there? And there it is, Milner out in front. But you know what? Fisichella is going to take the lead of this because Milner's going to have to pit fairly shortly. And as if by magic, we dip down. I think they may well be calling them in. Who knows? A 3-car, lights ablaze. Oh, hello. Yeah. Wait. Take him on the other side. Does so, gets away, doesn't interfere too much. So is this an in-run as we're looking for the 74 car? We'll be able to tell you in just a few moments. And we're going to try and have a chat with Jordan Taylor, 73 car, in just a few moments' time. It's the 74 car that we're concerned with. Looks like they may be on their in-run as we speak, which will put Fisichella in a 51 Ferrari back out and in the lead. The 99 Aston has made it home. And wing mirror damage as he comes by us here, swinging away like a dead lunchbox on a string, I'm afraid, bashing against the side of the car. We'll see that in a few moments' time. Looking at the 8 car going by. He's absolutely tearing up the track for Toyota at the moment as the 49.
Yeah, this bit slow getting out of its
away. Yeah, it looked like he got problems there.
Yeah, that was Pierre Capper who's just taken over the second place. What was the second place?
Audi 3 car coming in. Now, this is our tip for victory for the whole thing, both Mark and myself, independently. I may add here, we both thought the same thing, and in comes the 74, the 50, I beg your pardon, the 50, long view of it.
Yes, that's one of the...
that's the 50 car.
50 car coming
he's in. He's fourth in AM.
Yeah, that's Patrick Bornhauser in the Labra car, last year's factory car. But more importantly, the number 3 car comes in, Romain Dumas. I don't think we have a driver change at this stage. There'll be change of drink bottles and just checking all systems go there. Doesn't look like they're even concerned at the moment about the tyres. They've had a quick look. I know the tyres, I think probably there's no fresh ones waiting, so there's not a planned stop. The one we saw an hour ago, Carlton, remember we said we didn't think it was time for a tyre change, and it turned out later that there had been a slow puncher.
You know what? This Corvette is getting a good deal of range here. Another one on our screen. I'm looking at the 70 car hooking by. I'm waiting with bated breath for the 74 to come in. And it's not happening yet, which bodes badly for Aston, I'm afraid.
This, of course, is our GT Am Championship leader, Raymond Narak, on board. He won at Spa. Great win with him and Patrick Piet at Spa. Patrick, son of Teddy Piet, the former Formula 1 and sports car driver, and these two have done such a good job in the IMSA Performance Matmut Porsche. Very much a local team. The team is based at Rouen. The car is fettled in the Rouen Porsche dealership garage. That's only a couple of hours up the road from Le Mans. And Raymond having taken this car, well, the similar car, to the GT2 win at Le Mans 4 years ago. Corvettes. We're going to go and have a quick chat with Wayne Taylor's son, Jordan.
Jordan Taylor, I think it was your first ever stint here at the Le Mans 24 Hours. How was it?
Yeah, it was nice. It was nice to get that first stint out of the way without any serious mistakes. We had a slow puncture in the right front, which was kind of messing with my head a little bit, but glad to get that first stint out of the way and go on with the rest of the race.
Okay, was it planned that you do only one? Was it planned that you do only one?
No, we would have double stinted on the tires, but with that slow puncture on the right front, we decided just to do the driver change and get back into our rotation.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks.
This is a great effort, this one, and his brother, of course, Ricky, Wayne's other son, is currently leading the Grand Am Championship, and they're driving the Grand Am prototype, which is also Corvette powered, and is in the shape of a Corvette. Had some great races this year, so very much a family affair.
Say this quietly, but the 74 car is looking absolutely fantastic. They've still only made 3 stops, don't forget. And they are eating up the track out there. We're on board with the #1 car. He's our race leader.
What a shame we went to where just that moment when they hit 120 kilometers an hour. That's when all the kinetic energy kicks into that front wheel drive. We'd like to have heard that, but you could hear yourself just how quiet that was going through the Ford chicane there.
It's
extraordinary.
Spooky. Absolutely.
It's a small single turbo V6 in that car. They've gone the opposite route to Toyota and the one that Peugeot went on. They say with a smaller engine, smaller, well-developed turbo, they can get the fuel economy they need with the power.
Milner's still out there in the Corvette going around yet again. He's only made 3 stops, don't forget. This doesn't bode well for Aston, who are starting to rack up their stops, unfortunately. They've already taken 4. So they're getting an extra lap out of the Corvette here. As for the Ferrari, they're getting an extra couple of laps themselves. So as soon as that 74 Corvette does pit, then the 51 Ferrari will take over the lead of the Pro class. This is the 7 hybrid of Toyota, running 3rd in class at the moment behind the 8 car, also a Toyota. Would have thought we'd be saying that at this.
Welcome back to Le Mans, and we can say to you now, good evening from Le Mans. 6:45, just creeping up to the early evening. Most of you probably just thinking about going down to the pubs or restaurants or clubs. Don't stay here, because this race is getting better by the lap. So close at the top. Audi, Toyota 1, 2, 3, and P2. It might be 2 Morgan Pescarolas leading, but they've got Jody Firth in the Oreca hunting them down. In GT, it's been this incredible battle going on between Corvette and Aston Martin. That's just for the moment turned in favour of Ferrari. Giancarlo Fisichella in the car, which had to be rebuilt after he crashed it on Wednesday night. He's in 2nd place, Darren Turner in 3rd, and staying on board that car, Darren. He's been there forever, Carlton.
He just likes it in there, quite simply. It must be that. Darren Turner running at the moment on yet another stint here, and the 74 car is in. So this will be a lead change with Ferrari taking over. They really did attack for the last couple of laps, incidentally. They obviously knew what their fuel range was.
Yeah,
they've got an advantage, Corvette, over Aston, and over both of those, Ferrari and the 51 car. There is the Aston Running in second place, the 97 in the hands of Darren Turner. He's still out there on track. He's stopped not too long ago, I might add. He just sails by our commentary position right now. The 99 Aston, which is running in the amateur category, has had to stop with some problems. Big lock-up on the run into pit road here by the Golf 28 car. Golf 29 is out. It's the first marker of doom, I think.
Yeah, our famous marker. Yes. 10 years old, but unfortunately it retired last year. It expired, so we've had to buy a new one. I mean, that cost a fortune for a black felt tip pen.
Yeah.
But anyway, just to go back to the Corvettes, which they're still fettling that. Richard Westbrook will be getting on board that car because Ollie Gavin started it. American Tommy Neal took over.
There's a car without driver. That suggests
going around the track.
Yes, thrown its driver and is carrying on alone.
Oh dear. Darren Turner, of course, did not start that Aston, so he's still got plenty of time in it. It was started by Stefan Mucker. As Liz told us earlier, a driver may do no more than 4 hours in any 6-hour period of this race. That's just to ensure no one gets tired and emotional behind the wheel.
Absolutely. Just looking at the 61 car, which had its own troubles a little bit earlier on today, sailing by, waiting for the 51 that's going to take class lead in the hands of Giancarlo Fisichella. The 51 car, yes, with an amazing range, has only made 3 stops. Both Aston and the Corvette have made 4. However, the 4th stop for Corvette came 2 whole laps after Aston Martin, which does not bode well for Aston's chances here, because the fuel range is going to be a crucial factor. It's bound to be. The 71 car coming by us as we head out on track and just catch up with one of the Lotus badged machines out there. Haven't mentioned too much about Lotus, or indeed Lola. Both companies in trouble, one more serious than the other. Lola is in administration. We hope that somebody picks up that magnificent racing brand, and that is going to have to get called in here. We've got an upright issue, I'm afraid, and one of the Toyotas here didn't quite catch the number on track, is going to have to come in. They won't allow that to go on much longer. That's not going to stay on board.
Yeah, when you say upright, yeah, it's actually part of the wing, and it's it's that rear regulation plate, isn't it? It looks like it, or was it? Oh, it's actually it is that rear
it's
wing.
The leading edge of the wing upright here.
Well spotted, Carlton.
And I think that's going to be, they're going to get the call. They're not even going to wait for it. They're going to take it in anyway.
And they weren't due a stop, were they? No, they're on 5. And
yeah, and in he comes.
Dr. Ulrich then saying, yeah, some good news for us at last.
Yes, in fact, the 8 cars just come in. They're going to get busy, and the 7s sail by. They're going to wait for to be officially called in on this one.
Perhaps they're not particularly worried about it, unless Race Direction's concerned it's going to fly off. I don't think there's too much here. This is a routine stop, of course, for the 8 car. This is Sebastian Buemi. He is the first of the this is the 6th stop for this car.
Yeah, so we saw them waiting, thought that they were going to call in the car with the upright issue on the wing, but no, the 7 car, we're just staying with it right now.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think the problem is, Carlton, if they have to change it, it's not just going to be a question of taping it up. They have to change the whole back end.
Exactly. It's all integrated, I'm afraid.
Yeah. So here we are riding on board that car with Nick Lapierre. There we are, nice little shot of that. It's probably pretty secure at the bottom, but for some reason it's come loose at the top.
Yeah, well, it's taking some real stress out there. Oh, it's gone.
Okay, we can get on with it.
I've just seen it ping off.
Yeah. Now, if Liz is here, we'd say, Liz, would this affect the handling of the car? And she'd probably give us hugely technical reasons why it would. But for us as race fans, we'll think, well, this guy, he's a bit twitchy though. This guy's a race driver. He can cope with it. Team will have radioed him and told him, you've just lost a little wing tab, you know, just try and compensate for it.
There we go. Back to Toyota, just as he was making a slick manoeuvre there, and that was the moment it pinged off. It didn't damage anything. What was interesting was how the aero at the back of the car sucked that winglet back. It almost got into his own back tyres. Such the whirlwind going.
Yeah, you've got this tunnel that follows the car, which is why the Pro P1 drivers particularly don't want to follow each other too closely. It doesn't matter with the Aston and Corvette and Ferrari's been following each other all afternoon because they're GT cars, but these cars, I mean, they are just aerodynamic rockets, as we say, you know. I mean, someone yesterday said these cars, first time I saw the Audis, Hey, reminded me of Flash Gordon in the 1930s with their rocket ships.
Exactly. I don't know who it was, but I presume he was from Uzbekistan.
Yes, exactly right. Name something
The accent gives it away.
Something name like Ratbor or Borat. I can't remember what it was, but anyway, here we are.
58 cars just come in, by the way, for luxury racing. A lot of people tipping luxury to do a job here. There in at the pits. Hope we can get down there. I wouldn't mind seeing some more GT changes actually along the way. We're sticking with the bar, and well, we do get downstairs, which with the 67 here.
Well, they've got a bit of a problem there, haven't they? This is a headlight change, I think.
It certainly looks that way.
Yeah.
Full pod to be dealt with. It's not just a bulb for 14 shillings.
That's a new money. Yeah, it's a very pretty car. Just going through the picture, that number 30 car. We haven't actually seen a lot of that this afternoon, have we? But that is the that Status Grand Prix Lola, which Alexander Sims, Yelma Berman, and Romain Iannetta are on board, and that's the Irish car. And I think it looks absolutely gorgeous. Probably the best looking car here.
A lot of people talking that vehicle up actually for class honours. Quality outfit, the Murphy One machine.
They're on the podium at Spa.
Yeah, why not?
So,
why not repeat the feat?
Absolutely, this is the place to do it, isn't it? So the team run, of course, Status Grand Prix by Teddy Yip Jr., son of Teddy Yip of Formula One fame in the old days. David Kennedy runs it. He's a Le Mans veteran, raced with Mazda for many years. Simon Kaiser is the team manager, and the technical director Rob Arnott, who I remember from Formula Ford racing days.
7 cars in, just come in. Here he is, on board with him now. Suddenly goes to electric power. He hasn't just lost power.
Yeah, this is all to do with the regulations that say the car must be able to get itself the whole length of the pit lane under its hybrid electrical power. That's
and they have to
regulation
every time.
They don't have to do it every lap, but for some reason they choose to for the technology. There we are coming. I hope we just stay and see what they do. Will they change the whole back end, or are they just going to ignore it? It's quite a big piece, isn't it? It's got a funny tab at the top.
It has, yes. And I wonder whether that bit didn't have the print stick applied to it.
I would imagine it's hit by a piece of chunky rubber on the track or something, or a stone, and that probably just dislodged it. This is the 8 car back up to speed now. Sebastian Buemi here from Formula One. A lot of Formula One drivers here this weekend.
There are. Cars 7 and 8, by the way, absolutely locked together on the track. Right, we've got an interview. Wait a second.
Running 7 for the moment, just behind the Audi Toyotas. Do you think it's possible to go get them?
We know on pace we have no chance against them, so we have to do our own race and run as strong as possible. So far everything is going up to plan, so no, we're where we expect to be. So far the race is good for us.
Is the car running really good with the setups? Because we saw many cars change because the track is changing a lot.
Well, it's obviously difficult, but so far my teammates don't seem to complain so much, so we're pretty happy. Hopefully we'll stay the same for the rest of the race.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
There we are, another son of a famous man. It's all very well having a name that can open doors, but you do have to stand up and be counted once you step through it, and there's a man who certainly has. Same can be said for Alex Brundle, Martin's son. They're racing in the 42 car, don't forget, with Lucas Ordonez, a man who was did all his racing on electronic games, got part of the GT Academy, Nissan sponsored, amazing. Came through last year, got himself a podium finish, and yes, who knows what might happen this time by with the 42 car. It could well be they're heading for victory. People talking them up. Radio Le Mans, I know, very, very fond of that 42 car, and talking of it as potentially a class winner. It's hugely competitive, by the way, LMP2. Right now, though, camera's just loving the action of the P1s. It's Trullier and the number 1 Audi that are in the lead, with the Toyotas of Buemi and Lapierre snipping at his heels.
You just said exactly what I've been thinking all weekend. The cameras are in love with this car, aren't they? This beautiful blue and white. When they announced the program, cars are red and white. All the posters around Le Mans red and white. The cars arrived here at the test day, blue and white. How clever was that for marketing? We're going to take a quick break. Carlton Kirby, Mark Cole, we'll be back in a moment.
Welcome back. Toyota's having a bit of a party at the moment. They're in positions 2 and 3. There it is. There's a worked by magic. Obviously, our graphics people were thinking exactly the same thing. They're not our graphics people, incidentally. It's what we're provided with by the organisers here. But yes, they are having a superb run. It's 8 and 7. That's how they stand on the track. That's how the numbers are running in positions 2 and 3 at the moment. Bouet and Lapierre, and they have done an outstanding job of taking this to Audi. Now, if they play the long game here, you never know. It may be the frailty of the new technology as far as the Germans are concerned, and maybe the capacitor was the way to go instead of the flywheel. These are questions that will be asked a little bit answered a little bit later on. We're just heading downstairs.
Kazuki, the car looks really fast for the moment. You're pushing hard just behind the Audis.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we are in a really good moment at the moment, and yeah, we have a speed and yeah, not far from top Audi, so it's actually quite impressive thing. And yeah, next turn is my turn, so I'm quite looking forward to drive the car.
Is Sebastian happy about the setup of the car for the moment?
I think so. Yeah. So well, that's the. I mean, if you see the lap time, you can see it. So yeah, we're in a good shape.
How do you feel? Do you feel confident to go for the first time in the car?
Well, I think so. I mean, after some lap in the qualifying and testing session, I think I'm quite ready. And now we still have daylight, so it should be all right.
Thank you very much.
26-year-old Kazuki Nakajima, of course, another famous racing family, just as famous in Japan as the Brundles are here. His father Satoru, for many, many years, a Formula One driver between 87 and 91. He had 182 Grands Prix. His brother Daisuke, he races in Formula Nippon in Japan, so very much a family affair. His first time here at Le Mans, and his father, I'm quite sure, will be watching with great interest on Japanese television.
Just looking at the stops, we're still waiting for that Ferrari to make its 4th stop. Can you believe it?
Incredible. 14 laps it was running, wasn't it, earlier on? I presume it's still sticking to that schedule.
Presumably. It just can't stop stretching its legs and just sipping the fuel. Amazing.
Yeah. Now, Carlton, we're just getting our first warning of the race so far about respecting track limits. This was a big issue last year. Cars running wide. Curves have been raised in some places, but this is what they call the Ford essays. Post 131, we tend to call the Ford chicane, and car 75 has been told you are to respect the track limits, and that's the Abdullah Al Faisal, Brett Curtis, Sean Edwards Pro Speed Porsche. So if they don't respect those track limits, they can expect a stop-go penalty.
Yeah, right now they are way back. They are 52nd. And in fact, they're next but last on track as we speak. The Pescarolo, by the way, Emanuele Collard is back and in the pits. I'm afraid to tell you, the 16 car, they've had all kinds of issues. And I think before you know it, we might have Stuart Hall here having a chat.
Well, this might be a German team, but it's Chinese whispers the whole way through, isn't it?
It is, yes. Yeah, it's gone very Zen-like.
Oh, yes. One of the men we saw there is a former Eurosport colleague of ours, Thomas Voigt, who's now motorsport press officer for Audi, having a chat with Dr. Wolfgang Ulrich. So, Carlton, if you play your cards right, and I do, one day we could be working for a major motor manufacturer.
Well, you never know your luck.
In our dreams.
Yeah. Yes.
We work for the best TV company in the world. What more could we want?
Precisely.
Eurosport, 33 million audience at the start of the race we were told to expect, and I'm sure every one of them is enjoying it.
Oh, I think that's a lot of sandwiches and black coffee, which you will need. Big lockup for the car being pursued here. It looks like it's one of the Golf machines, the 28 car. Clearly got himself a little bit upset by seeing that light stack coming away. Dindo Capello about to speak to us from Audi number 2. That is it's running in 5th place and is not the last placed Audi. Let me tell you, Tom Christensen is out there at the moment, in the 2 car. Yes, the 4 Audi is running in 6th place, and I'm just wondering whether we did ask the question from Justine whether the 12 car has got any ambitions of beating some of the big boys here. There we are. That's in super slow-mo, so you can imagine how that strobe really and does that job at full speed.
Liz says that you can't see it with the naked eye. It's just too fast, but it's being slowed down. 49 car in trouble. This one's, if it wasn't for trouble, it'd have no trouble at all, as you've said before. This is the Argentinian run, Picom Oreca Nissan. And just going back to what you were saying about Trulli, Carlton, he has just popped in a 3:28, so he's getting close to his own fastest lap, which came on lap 5 of this race. We are now on lap 67, and he's just done that, the fastest lap of anyone out there, certainly in the last 2 hours. Most people running 30s, and he's increasing that gap. It is now, last time we looked, 63 seconds over the best of the Toyotas.
I think they're feeling a little bit bullied by Toyota, and they're starting to put the hammer down maybe a little bit earlier than they'd hoped here. Just looking at the stops that they've had, Trulli has been in 5 times. It's 6 for Buemi and Lapierre. So it makes you wonder whether he's going on the attack, because he's in lap fairly shortly. As soon as that happens, then it's going to be Toyota 1 and 2 on the board here.
He's got 1 minute 10 seconds to play with. He can get in and out as long as he's not changing tyres. But remember last year, this guy Trulli, Lotterer and Fassler, it was just them against the whole fleet of Peugeots after we lost McNish and Rockefeller, and they rose to it. They just pushed harder and harder, and as the race went on, they went faster and faster.
It's required.
No question of backing off.
Absolutely. The 16 car stays in the garage, I'm sad to tell you. So it may well be that we have the lovely Stuart Hall coming to join us a little bit later on. That's our gain, is Pescarolo's loss, I'm afraid.
Liz Halliday's about to rejoin us, and maybe she's caught up with Stuart. We'll find out in a moment. And no, she's shaking her head. No, she wasn't. No. She said, I'm not going to go near that garage. No. Not a safe place to be.
It was Volavants only were on Liz's mind.
Volavants at dawn. Yeah, she's
just dabbing her lips now with a napkin. She'll be back with us in a moment.
Yeah. Can we just call for makeup, please? She's about to come back on air. Yeah.
Liz now on the sofa. Nice to see the top and tail of the show will involve Liz. A great addition to the team, which is fantastic. Just watching the 73 car. On the on-screen team, I should say. She's been here 5 years, just before she hits me. There they come back, and onto the start-finish straight here. The 42 car looking nice and pacey. Who's on the 42 at the moment?
The 42 car?
It's Brundle Jr.
It is, yeah. But look up at the front there. It's Oak Racing, and what a great run Jack Nicolet's team's having with those Morgan Pescarolo Nissans to give it their full titles. Of course, Jack Nicolet and Oak are part of Pescarolo's. We've waved goodbye to the Ferris wheel.
No, it's our cameraman has actually bought a ticket.
Oh, right.
And decided to make a good vantage point. It's cheaper than hiring a boom.
Yeah, he's changed your habit of a lifetime. He's actually paying for something. So Oak Racing, just to remind you, Jack Nicolet and Sebastian Philippe runs that team, and they run that team out of Manicourt Circuit. Great job they have been doing. They bought out Pescarolo, then sort of sold it back to him, helped save it. So this is all, in effect, Henri Pescarolo's dream still continuing, but it's a much stronger dream for Oak today than it has been for Henri Pescarolo. They're 1-2 in category. Henri is nowhere.
Dream turning into a nightmare, I'm afraid, for him. A lot of speculation as to whether this is Pescarolo's final year. To be honest, if it ends damply, I think he might well just give it another go to sort of go out on a bit of a high. That's if that is the way he is thinking. Such a great stalwart and champion, really, of endurance racing.
It's a question of mindset, and Henri is a very, very strong character. He's also got a very strong wife, Maddie, behind him, and she does all his PR work. She has her own PR company, by the way, and she, again, is a driving force of Pescarolo. You know, you might fall out with Henri, but you never, ever, ever fall out with Maddie, because that's it. And, you know, I worry for Jean-Christophe Bouillon, whether he'll ever drive for Pescarolo again.
No.
Yeah, well, who knows?
19 hours and 54 minutes remaining. It's skipping by, isn't it? We're on board with each one. Do you think we'll finally get some collection of power, hear the sound of it, and then stay with the car for a bit of delivery? That would be nice.
Just coming up to the first chicane. Let's listen.
That's the sound of the energy being...
Oh, it's straight on the guy he's about to take. He looked in his mirrors, saw the lights, took fright, and went straight on at the first chicane.
Well, we cut away before we could see the power delivery, but that did not look clever, did it?
It's a nice shot. That's the shot we're getting from the Ferris wheel. That is our cameraman. Say hello.
in a moment he's going to get a bit of the stanchion going straight across his lens, so that'll be the end of that.
Obviously had to pay extra for the operator to make it stationary. It's moving now, and as it moves, so the picture moves. Here we go. This is the sight he's seeing, and he's going higher and higher and higher.
And he'll come down the other side in a moment and then just go straight past the pizza store at the bottom of the Ferris wheel.
Which he won't pay for.
I think this is the helicopter actually, Mark. I've never seen a Ferris wheel
well,
with that big an arc.
That's the Ferris wheel's broken loose. It's rolling down the hill.
There you go. We thought we'd be clever
shot,
there,
but
anything but.
This is a great shot, isn't it? The circuit down through La Chapelle, and very, very fast here.
Well, the commentary position that we've drafted in since we got kicked off the gantry is our unit from the Tour de France. Here's that moment. We were just watching them collect energy. Big lockup by one of the Lotuses, I think.
Frightened an LMP2 off. It's an open car, so it's not a Lotus.
You're right.
Is it? It's the level 5 Honda. Yeah, Scott Tucker's team. It's Scott Tucker on board that car as well. So.
Too much gold with the black, Scott. You need to think about that.
Well, again, as we've said before, it's a branding exercise, as is golf, as is the Morgan exercise.
Yeah, if you've got a black car and you stick some gold on it, everyone's going to think it's a Lotus.
Yeah.
Obviously, uncowled.
Or a cigarette packet.
Soon, incidentally. Well, fastest lap, Trullier, 3:26.302. Way back on lap 5, and he's out in front at the moment, and looking good for that. I wouldn't be surprised if he just reapproaches that kind of speed and time through here.
Yeah, as you say, he's still got to make his 6th stop, but he's got 75 seconds in hand now. And Liz, welcome back, joining us. 75 seconds, enough time to get in and out and take fuel on, surely.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I would have said so, and especially with how fast everybody is nowadays. Usually about 30 seconds for fuel is the general rule, which is why in the old days we used to spend a lot of our time making sure a driver's stop was 28 seconds. So you're done.
There we go, 2 cars in. By the way, let's just watch this, shall we?
Yeah.
It's Tom Christensen on board. And bottles being exchanged.
So he's triple stinting, as was Alan McNish, and Dindo Capello presumably will do the same.
Red and blue, one's water, one is the washer for the windscreen. Better make sure you don't get those mixed up, otherwise you'll have very clean teeth.
Yeah, now this car is not out of sequence, is it? But it is a lap and 2 minutes behind after its problems wheeled into the garage earlier. Liz, while you've been out, we had a bit of fun with the number 7 Toyota, Nick Lapierre. He lost part of that upright tab at the rear wing, and
didn't seem to affect his speed though. I was watching, and he didn't seem to slow down at all.
Came in, made a pit stop. They didn't do anything about it, so obviously weren't too worried. So
yeah, I think that small amount isn't going to make a huge amount of difference to his aerodynamics. I think if he'd lost a piece of the back of the wing, that would be a different story.
Yeah, that's the number 8 car incident we were just looking at. Sebastian Buemi, another man who's made the transition from Formula 1. There's quite a lot of them here this weekend, aren't there? We've got 15 previous overall race winners here with 26 wins between them, 42 rookies, and
42 Ricky Bobbies.
No less than 15 Formula 1 drivers who are still racing.
There we are. We've got a moment here, clearly. Wait to see what it is.
He's just run out of talent, hasn't he? And
or a road, for that matter.
2 of them.
Yeah, and then all guilty of following each other.
That was nearly.
Led like sheep around the corner. I was just going to mention taking on some energy. Liz has done that with her Volavants. You've seen the sandwiches have just come, and Mark Cole's going to go and refuel as well. You've got to be careful that you do exactly that. Mark will be back in around about an hour's time with a smile on his face and burger stains on his chest. We wait to see that. Liz, you've got to keep the sustenance coming. Oh, we're going to take a break, so we'll come back with that factoid. We'll have a little chat, shall we, about how you've got to keep your energy up, whether you're in the car or indeed out. Back in a moment. Welcome back. You join us auspiciously as the leader comes in. Important moments for these guys. Not sure where they are within their schedule. It's bottle change, windows, fuel, and what else, Liz?
Well, possibly a driver. I haven't seen if there's a change. I wasn't expecting you to say what else. I thought, well, that's quite a lot you've just said there, actually. Fuel, tires, yeah, that's most of it.
Also coming in, and the 15 machine as well. It's getting busy. A lot of schedules suddenly arriving at exactly the same time. Hard to judge when you're trying to pick yourself out within a field.